Over 140,000 people around the world have bought one of these. The question is, why? Is it the looks? Is it the driving dynamics? Is it the face-ripping 0 to 60 in 19 seconds? Of course not. It's the price. It's less than 15 grand. It's super cheap in both ways, but efficient, easy to drive, and dare I say, fun? That's not quite the right word, is it? More like bland. Oh look, a Dacia Duster. Aren't you a car? Well, I guess if I'm going to review this Dacia, I'm going to have to get its name right. It's actually pronounced Dacia. I'll give it a go throughout the video. I mean, looks-wise, it's not offensive, is it? All the bits and bobs are in the right place. It's not got a weird face or a massive unnecessary grille. It's alright, isn't it? I'll give it a 5 out of 10, I suppose. But here's something every electric car should have. Vehicle to load, where you can reverse the flow of electrons and power anything you like, including a cheese toasting machine. Fantastic! And if you're wondering, coronation chicken, cheddar cheese, mango chutney. It's a winner. It can't power your home or do vehicle to grid, but still very useful, and as a Tesla owner, I'm jealous of this. There are two variants, the £15,000 base model Dacia Spring Expression 45 and the top trim Extreme 65, but don't let those numbers fool you into thinking that's the battery size. It's the horsepower coming from the twin motors. The Extreme 65 has a 0 to 60 in 13.7 seconds, whilst the Expression 45 does it in 19 long seconds. It's rather painful. But this car's not built for performance, it's all about the space. No. Driving pleasure? Not really. Technology? Range? Definitely not. Creature comforts? No. Now, unfortunately, you can't even move the steering wheel forward and backwards, just up and down. The seats don't go down either, which is a bit weird. There's no rear armrest and there's no vanity mirrors on these extremely flimsy sunshades. There's not even a cup holder. After watching a couple of reviews on this when it first came out, I have noticed this is very different to the layout of the ones that are in those previous reviews. That, of course, was the European left-hand drive version. This is set for us. But of course, all these missing pieces lead to that amazing price. Compromises, you see. Any noticeable quality issues? Well, yeah, loads of them. But what do you expect? It ain't going to be a Bugatti, is it? I think the funniest thing is here, it's here in the glove box, just smashed down. Dampers, anyone? There's a lot of plastic going on, admittedly, but you got some fluffy bit up there. The seats have got a bit of fabric going on and some very plasticky pleather. But right in front of me, the screen's really decent. The fans are quite nice. I've got a little bit of extra detail on there. A bit of piano black around these knobs at the bottom. The steering squircle, because that's not a circle, is it? Or a square. It's a weird shape. It's got plenty of buttons on it. Oh, got horn. It's got electric mirrors that you can adjust to the side here. It's just weird having a key, to be honest. I haven't had a vehicle with a key for 5 years, so that's a novelty. Right, now let's do something I've never done before. The wobbly test. Could have fit a frunk in there. Squash the bumper or bonnet of any new car and you'll see it distort. That's good if you hit a pedestrian, as it will absorb the impact. Still, best to avoid them if you can. Pretty decent sized boot at 308 litres, or just over 1,000 litres with seats folded. There's no floor of batteries that you'd find in other EVs, probably because there's not enough batteries to go around to make a floor. They're all hidden under the rear seats. Battery size is a tiny 26.8 kilowatt hours of usable electrons, which supposedly gives 143 mile WLTP range. I think that stands for We Love to Pretend, because no one believes those magical numbers, not even the people that released them. Expect about 120 miles of real-world range. Still, that's plenty for most commuters or for just pootling around, isn't it? So what's it like to drive then? As you can imagine, it's very basic, it's very squishy and soft. I don't think there's any sound insulation in here. It's not particularly quiet for an electric car, which is quite strange. When you do when you do put your foot down, not a lot happens. I'm going up a little hill here and it's quite a surprise to put your foot down and not really get anywhere in an electric car. It's really reminiscent of an old 1990s super cheap Ford Fiesta or whatever. You certainly couldn't describe this as precise steering. You do have to turn it quite a lot just to get around the slightest of bends. Got a nice little amount of regen as well. Okay, so it's not got a lot of refinement. There's a lot of wind noise. Doesn't sound like there's much insulation in here to absorb it all. But on the plus side, visibility is quite nice. It's got a turning circle of 9.5 metres and soft suspension and light steering to make it a breeze for anyone to drive. But it also comes with Apple CarPlay. It's got cruise control. It's not adaptive, mind, so you do have to make sure you don't run into anyone. But it's also got 4 electric windows, which I didn't expect. It's got a reversing camera on the screen, which is pretty decent, and space for 4 adults. I mean, driving wise, it's exactly what you'd expect. It's very simple, minimalist to drive. It's very squishy, plenty of body roll. The steering wheel's extremely soft, and you do have to turn it quite a bit before the wheels actually start turning. As for the cabin though, I mean, it's super plastic and cheap. Exactly what you'd expect, but it's nice enough. This bit in front of me here, the screens are really nice, and the touch screen is pretty intuitive to use. I've found my way around it with quite success, so that's good for me. These buttons down here are in the right place. They've got a nice piano black bit behind them. They're all lit up very well. It feels very small. I mean, I can easily touch the other side of the car with my finger. That's how small it is in here. So it's obviously a lot smaller than most cars. It actually feels smaller than the electric Mini that I test drove. Card in the corner if you want to watch that. It's a shame we don't have heated seats in here, but as if we're going to get extras like that, the climate control works just fine. Well, I was going to take you to a Tesla supercharger and show you how you can plug this in and charge it, but I'm lost. I can't find it. The sat-nav isn't taking me to the superchargers, so I think I'll give up on that one. Efficiency-wise, you should be able to achieve roughly 4.5 miles per kilowatt hour. Some real-world tests have shown that Dacia Spring achieve up to 5.1 miles per kilowatt hour. So 5.1 times the battery size of 27 kilowatt hours, and that will give you roughly 137 miles in ideal conditions. Not that we've ever witnessed those ideal conditions here in the UK. It comes with a CCS plug hole with DC fast charging, which maxes out at just 30 kilowatts, which is dreadful really. Most EVs will take 150 kilowatts and above, for example, but again, a tiny battery won't take long to fill. It'll go from 20 to 80% charge in around 45 minutes. And you can use many of the Tesla supercharger locations, as well as any of the 72,500 public electric charging points across the UK. This isn't a mile-munching motorway cruiser, is it? As with the vast majority of EV owners, it'll get charged at home. The Dacia Spring has a maximum AC charging capacity of 6.6 kilowatts, so you could fill this little battery overnight from a standard 7 kilowatt charger in just 4 hours. Safety-wise, it's got lane keeping assist, which warns and corrects your trajectory if you drift from your lane. It also has traffic sign recognition, which warns you if you're speeding, and EBS, an emergency braking system. It's got a 10-inch touchscreen, which has a range of customisable apps and all the usual settings and features. It receives real-time traffic info and map updates. And the Dacia app means you have access to check your battery's remaining charge of driving range, schedule your charging, or activate the heat or air conditioning before you get into the vehicle. And you can follow all driving and consumption information on this little 7-inch screen right in front of me. I managed to find this where you can lease it for just £138 per month for 4 years with 12 months down as initial payment. If you are swapping from an internal combustion engine car, consider that you won't ever need to visit petrol station again, and you can charge at home just like me on a cheap overnight tariff. To fill up this with electricity would cost me £1.78 for roughly 120 miles of travel. That's great. And if you want to join the UK's best energy provider, it's Octopus Energy. Link in the description below, and we can both split £100. Cheers! If you favour frugality over fanciness, ta-da! This is it. Less depreciation because it's so cheap to start with. It's efficient thanks to no frills, a small battery, a slender body, which in all weighs just 1,035 kilograms. It has essential features that focus on functionality rather than extravagance. Dacia might have built this with simplicity in mind, but it ain't totally stupid. It has relatively decent safety features. It's better than a push bike, I suppose, but you should be aware that it's one of very few vehicles that have only received a 1-star rating from the Euro NCAP safety rating. But apart from that bombshell, you know what? Bravo, Dacia. Dacia, you've managed to do what no other automotive company has done. Offer a sub £15,000 electric car that will jolly well do the job for those that don't care about quality, refinement, style, joy, fun, life, love, laughter. And for that, I commend you. Just, don't skimp on safety. That's bad. There's another thing that this car represents, though. It's where the electric car market is heading. Put aside autonomy, if you're a regular viewer of my channel. Fewer batteries that are cheaper than ever to produce will provide us with far cheaper cars as manufacturers continue to eke out efficiency savings from the relatively new technology of electric cars. Internal combustion engine vehicles have already hit their lowest possible production costs, while EVs are just beginning to optimise theirs. But I guess here's the dilemma. In order to buy one of these, you've got to ignore the many, many used electric vehicles that are on the market right now for less than £15,000. All of these taken from Auto Trader, including many Tesla Model 3s, which obviously I'd recommend over anything else for safety alone. But that's the question I'd like you to answer. If you had 15 grand to buy a car, what would you get? This? A used EV? Let me know in the comments below. Chuck us a like and subscribe before you click on one of these videos next. I'm Will, this is the Tesla Jigsaw. Thank you Patrons, thank you for watching. Bye for now.